Okay, we're going to recap the graphing in this lesson here. Graph the equation, identify the vertex, axis, the symmetry, and the range. Well, what do you see here? Would that be ABC or AHK? Well, it's x squared, x constant, and there's no parentheses, so it's probably ABC. Okay, so you know it's a U because it's x to the second power. You know that, okay? It's in ABC form, so we need 3 coordinates. Okay, ABC form, this is your vertex, okay? So I'll just put it right there, so there it's identified. Now, to find the x on ABC, it's taking the opposite of the b and dividing it by 2 times a. So the opposite of negative 8 is positive 8, and then 2 times 2 is 4, so 8 divided by 4 equals 2. Okay, so that's your middle x. Now you add 1 and subtract 1. Now you substitute those in for the x variable. X is 3, so 3 and 3 go here. I got negative 3. Now I click up and I want 2 to go in for the x's. Negative 5. Now I better be back to negative 3 here. I did something wrong. Negative 3 you are. Okay. Okay, so x, y, so 3, negative 3. 2, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, negative 3. Okay, there you go. Now I want the axis of symmetry identified, AOS, and also the range. All you got to do is label the vertex 2, negative 5. That's your x, that's your y. Okay, axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Remember, that's that vertical line that splits it into 2. It's right through 2 on the x-axis. Then you put negative 5, y, negative 5, and since the arrows are going upward, it has to be a greater than sign, because from negative 5, the y goes nowhere but up. Greater than or equal to. Okay, next one, x seconds in the house, so makes a u. Every u we're using 3 coordinates, okay, that should be. Okay, so A, B, C again. So opposite of B divided by 2 times A. So the opposite of B is positive 5. You don't make your A opposite for about the 18th time. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So that's your middle x. Add 1 to that, that'd be 3.5. Minus 1 would be 1.5. So you go 1. Remember, this is the vertex. So 1 parentheses 3.5 to the second. Minus 5, parentheses 3.5, and then plus 4. I got negative 1.25. Now I want 2.5 instead of 3.5. Okay, negative 2.25. This better be back to negative 1.25. So I put 1.5 in here. Negative 1.25. Okay, so 3.5, negative 1.25. It's not hard to graph. 1, 2, 3, and then halfway. Negative 1.25. You go negative 1 and then just pass that. It's not that hard. 2.5, negative 2.25. So you go 1, 2, halfway. Then 1, 2, and then pass the negative 2. 1.5, negative 1.25, so 1 halfway, negative 1 right there. Okay, axis of symmetry. You label the vertex 2.5, negative 2.25. Okay, x equals, and it'd be 2.5. Now the range, you put y, and you put the value, you don't put equals, negative 2.25, but then a range has to have a greater than or less than sign, okay? Since we're going upwards with the arrows, okay, we need greater than or equal to. Okay, next problem, axis to the second, it's a U. In a different formation, as you can see, because it's not ABCC, it's AHK. So finding the vertex, there's really not much math involved. You just look at the H and take the opposite of it. Opposite of H would be negative 2. Then add 1, negative 1, subtract 1 would be negative 3. Okay, you can plug those in now. There's 4, negative 1 plus 2, raise it to the second power, and then minus 3. So you get 1. Now you click the up key. Instead of negative 1, you want negative 2. In AHK form, the opposite of H is always going to give us our K value, just like I said. And I put negative 3 in, and I'm back to 1, so I know I did it right. So negative 1, 1, negative 2, negative 3, okay? Negative 3, 1. Okay. Alright, so the axis, label the vertex to do the axis of symmetry and the range, negative 2, negative 3. So, axis of symmetry and range. Okay, so the axis of symmetry, that's just an equals, x equals negative 2. Again, what an axis of symmetry is it just goes down and splits it in half. I just cut right through the negative 2 on the x-axis, so it splits it into 2 equal parts. Okay, range, you take the y with the negative 3, and you need to decide if it's greater than or less than. Well, the arrows are going up, so it's greater than. It'd have to eat the y variable. Okay, next one. Y equals negative 3 times the quantity x minus 5 to the second power plus 6. Okay, second power's there, that's a u. Okay, so this is AHK, not ABC. AHK is easier to come up with your vertex, okay? Opposite of H, which is positive 5, then add 1, 6, 4. So negative 3, and then 6 minus 5 to the second power plus 6, and I'm at 3. Click the up key, now we want 5 minus 5, it's going to be 6, it's always the K, 4, back to 3, okay, okay, so 6, 3, 5, 6, then 4, 3. Okay, so the axis of symmetry and the range. Put your vertex label on the vertex, 5, 6. Axis of symmetry, x equals 5. Range, y and 6. Arrows are going down, so it would be less than or equal to. So to eat the number this time, okay? If you want to pause the video and do numbers 1 and 2, be my guest. Okay. Okay, story problem here. Missiles launched from a 100-foot platform with a velocity of 725 feet per second. What's the maximum height of the missile? Again, maximum. Now you're not finding maximum area now. You're finding maximum height. Okay. Now you're going to set up a coordinate. This time you are going to put X and Y. You're not going to do LA because it's not that. It's not a length, width, area problem. You should see that by reading it that that's not going to work. But we still are going to use the opposite of B divided by 2 times A to find the independent maximum variable, the X. Now, Algebra 1, you were introduced to gravity. That's what's pulling it back down, the force of gravity. So what you want to slot when on a maximum height problem, you want to go blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank equals y. It's going to be ABC. Okay. Now, we're going to fill this in with a number that's not even in this problem. It's the force of gravity. It's not negative 9.8. That's meters. When you're dealing with feet, gravity is always negative 16. So even though it's not in the problem, it's negative 16. This is filled in with the velocity found by per, 725. This is filled in with where we begin at. We began at 100 feet. So you put 100 in your constant place. Now you have A and B quite easily. Opposite of B, negative 725. 2 times negative 16, that's 2 times A. That's going to be negative 32. Then we divide. Just round it to 22.66. That's the seconds it took. Remember, X is always time, so that would be seconds. Okay, Y right there. That's your feet. Okay. So you substitute the 22.66 in for X. And plug away. Okay, 8,312.89. That's 8,312.89 feet, and that's your maximum height. Not as hard to do as finding the maximum area. Okay, feet. Okay, I'm going to do another one like it. Football's kicked off the ground with a velocity of 100 feet per second. What's football's maximum height? So again, maximum. Drop right there. Remember, there's your maximum point. That's the vertex. On a story problem, to find the vertex, we are always going to apply opposite of B divided by 2 times A. Maximum height, we use X and Y for the variables. It's not like a maximum area where you use L and A. Okay, maximum height, you just go X, Y, like a normal coordinate point. Okay, now, objects going up, coming down by the force of gravity. So you go X to the second, then X, then constant equals Y. This is A, this is B, this is C. So again, the A coefficient is a number not even in the problem, it's gravity, which is always going to be negative 16. Then this is your feet per second. That is going to be 100. Now, we started on the ground, so that would be 0 feet. So if it's 0, you put that there, but then get rid of it. We just won't have a C, and we don't need it because I have the B. The opposite of the B is negative 100. 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. Okay, 3.125, just put 3.13. That's the seconds it took to get to the max height. Now to find the actual maximum height, you substitute 3.13 in for each of your x's. Okay, so negative 16, 3.13 to the second, plus 100, 3.13, 156.25. Okay. So that's the feet. I'm going to pause the video and go to do number 3. That's fine. Let's see if there's how many of them are like that. Okay. All right. Now find the product. You should know how to do this. Okay. Multiplication. So what you have here, you have a binomial times another binomial. That's two separate terms, one multiplied by x, one not. One multiplied by x, one not. So to multiply these two together, use a process known as the FOIL method. Okay? Well, it's simple distribution is what the FOIL method is. You take 1x to 1x and 1x to 7. Done with that. Now negative 3 to 1x, you repeat the same procedure with your negative 3. Distributed to the 1x and the 7. Okay, now x times itself, we don't know x, so it would be expressed as x to the second. 1 times 1 is 1. You really don't even need to put the 1s if you don't want to, but I usually do when I'm showing this to start with. Then x, 1 times 7 is 7. Then x, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Then negative 21. Now, here's how you write your product. Right underneath this, x to the second is the highest degree. Then x, then constant. So x second, you got 1, that's it. X, you need to add, not multiply, add. You're done multiplying. Now you add these together. 7 plus negative 3 is 4. Then your negative 21 is your constant. Okay, that's pretty much all you do here. Okay, binomial times a binomial. It ends up as a 3-term polynomial. So 1x to 1x, 1x to negative 5. Get rid of that. Then negative 4 to 1x, negative 4 to negative 5. So x times itself is x second. 1 times 1 is 1. Then you have x. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Then you have x. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And then 20. So x second is your highest degree. So 1. We have to add the x's. Those are like terms. Negative 5 plus negative 4 is negative 9. And then you have 20. Okay, binomial, binomial. So 4x times 2x, 4x times negative 6. It's called the FOIL method. Multiplying two terms, two separate terms by another two separate terms that we can't put together. So x times x, x second, 4 times 2 is 8. Then x, negative 24, then x, 10, then negative 30. So you have x second, x, constant, so 8 is the x second. Negative 24 plus 10 is negative 14, and then negative 30. Okay, 2x minus 3. Times 6x plus 1. So that's multiplied by x, that isn't. That's multiplied by x, that isn't. So they're two separate, not like terms. So you use the FOIL method to multiply. So 2x times 6x, 2x times 1. Negative 3 times 6x, negative 3 times 1. Okay, so the x times x second, 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2. Then x would be negative 18, and then negative 3. Okay, so you get x second, then x, and the constant. So you get 12 for x to the second. 2 plus negative 18 is negative 16. And then negative 3. Okay, peace.